As you can see, this is the cover of my sketchbook from February of 2023. I don't have very much to say about it, so I'm just going to start with the video. This is one of those drawings that I think coloring honestly made worse. It looked very good when I did it in study hall, and then it kind of ended up looking like a 2000s mess. But there was some pretty good perspective, and it had interesting background, so I'll give myself that. Here I have one of many pictures of QO.
Just lone QO, bro.
Initially, I had expected to draw more bandmen, and then I just didn't. See what the NSFW is.
Hey, yo!
So, around this time, I was actually getting into some new music, and one of the artists was Panchiko, and I listened to death metal, and this is what I drew. It was not that creative, but I thought that I was an artistic genius.
This one's for you, Van Gogh.
Okay, quick side tangent here, though. Van Gogh's bedroom is a really funny painting to me, because, and I have not studied art meticulously, by the way, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but he painted it because he liked his room, because it reminded him of the Japanese and their minimalism. It did not remind the Japanese of their minimalism. I was happy, and that is all that matters, right? Oh, this one is great. I was mentally returning to my Dracula phase, and I tried to draw Dracula. Look at Mina, she's beautiful. Look at Jonathan, he's miserable. Look at Dracula, he's evil Jesus. It was them actually out during Valentine's Day for a nice dinner as Dracula haunted them, and then, continuing my Dracula phase, some stereotypical Victorians listening to Malice Miser as they do. What kind of music does thou prefer? That is Miser. Oh, what a weird Dracula. My dad asking if Malice Miser was something music people actually listened to in the late 19th century. Actually, I was bored and felt like revisiting Hangul. I did not plan on learning Korean. Anyway, I rewatched and wrote down my observations on
Merveille l'espace.
And then I drew a little poster in which I yassified gapped. Then as you just go down the page, the members look worse and worse. I am so sorry. And then one of my goofiest endeavors, ap2d art planning. Thank God I did not use this motif. It sucked. But as you can see, my friend and I got a 90 on our project. Woo! I found more abstract art. It was the first time I'd ever listened to Dim Lim. I don't have the album name written and I've already forgotten it, but it was very good. Nana Osaki, a woman that every 14-year-old has ripped off at some point. Did you know that 98% of Batman's Esprit fans are clinically unable to draw Q-Ho? Well, I'll have you know that I am in that 98%. Woo! This is from when I had a chat off with my friend, and I just have to wonder why I even proposed the idea when his art style looks like that. Like, of course he won. But then I drew a really hot lady with a sword and big boobs, so who's the real winner? It's still him. Oh, this is from when I got in trouble at lunch for sitting alone and eating a sandwich in a section of the school I shouldn't have been in, so I was drawing the oh-so-valiant security guards. Very mocking manner because I wasn't doing anything suspicious. I was literally just on FaceTime eating a sandwich during my lunch, but, you know, I made fun of it for a while. I drew Malice Miser in their Illuminati lab coats, and made fun of them for not being doctors. Requires a little bit of lore explanation, so there was a point in time in which I was concerned that my internet friend had died, and I somehow ended up listening to Pornograph by Dataroma, which is a really disingenuous sad song. Well, as it turned out, he was still alive, and it lived on as an inside joke. So the picture is me crying to Pornograph in front of the TV while he floats away into heaven. I did some ap2d art planning that actually looked good. I turned this in. I liked it. I drew my day and ever so shamelessly accidentally referenced Garden of Skeletons. Anyway, I hated doing physics labs, but this one girl was like, hey, you're doing pretty well, and I was like, yay! Bloody Dude at the end has nothing to do with this, by the way. I just drew him because I liked him, but he looked like part of the comic. I was so happy to be validated by my peers in my science class. Until the murder happened. Anyway, here's some decent ap2d art planning. I actually quite like that one too, and I believe I used it. Okay, this one is funny because I literally just drove past my old friend's house and was like, I'm older now, and Radiohead is playing. No. And then I went outside and felt normal for like 10 minutes. And Radiohead was still playing, apparently. February was not my month, by the way. And then I was very cheap on this, but I wanted to use the color orange and ended up just making it from Dazzling Bad look like he had some fungus going on. Pretty cool, though. I sort of like it. But if you thought that I mentioned Madman's Esprit too much or Q-Ho Lee too much, I made a chart. I didn't finish it, but I made a chart. Look at this Tumblr emo poetry.
Bro thinks he's Dorian. Juho looks like a fucking turtle.
I was very bored in art class one day, so I decided to just draw a bunch of spaces that I wanted to be in at one point. I also wanted to make a poster, because graphic design is my passion, but unfortunately coming up with ideas to advertise on posters is not. Yoshiatsu.
You again? It's been one page. Look at that it from Dazzling Bad.
And then beneath that is my senior mantle attempt, because we were having a contest that was very poorly timed. I didn't submit it. Who cares? If you've seen any of my other sketchbooks, you'll know that I'm very non-committal when it comes to the stories that I start. So I have less OCs than the average person does because I barely write them. But that being said, I've had this idea in my head for a while of a guy pretending to be a vampire in front of a bunch of real vampires who actually believe him. The girl on the left is a vampire hunter, and the pumpkin on the right is a specific type of vampire in certain folklore.
Alright, Dorian. Okay, that stinks. What? That's how it ends?
I didn't record an outro for this because it's a sketchbook tour and that's extremely awkward when half the time my sketchbooks don't even end properly. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope it wasn't too obvious that the voiceovers were recorded in 3 separate parts, because to me it's obvious, because you can tell that my energy spikes at one point. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good one.